Now in the today class, we are going to discuss about the Hartley and the Colpitts oscillator, which are basically the LC oscillators. What is LC oscillator? Means the oscillations or the feedback network will be done by the or will be given by the LC circuit. Now in the last class, we have seen that an oscillator is nothing but an amplifier in the forward direction, where we can have a summer over here, and we say that we obtain an output V out for a particular input V. Now after one cycle, what's going to happen? Small amount of your output will be fed back into the input, and this will be done by the feedback circuit whose gain will be beta. And I will say here the output that I will receive at the output of this feedback network will be VF. Now due to the positive feedback in the oscillators, whatever the output that I will receive or simply the VF that will be added with my input signal. This is the basic of the feedback circuit or simply the positive feedback circuit. Now in the case of oscillators, we said that in this scenario, this Vin is equal to 0. This Vin is initially provided. For the first case, you can say when I'm going to on this circuit for the first time, definitely I need some input, but that input is not provided externally. That is done by the transients. What are transients? Transients are nothing but the fluctuations in the supply. As we are having the transistor over here for the amplification, then definitely we are going to apply the DC biasing signals. And what are those DC biasing signals? We all know, for making your transistor to act as an amplifier, but we had the forward bias junction, that is your emitter base junction, and your reverse bias, that is your base collector junction, or simply the collector base junction, right? So this will be done by the two voltages, that is VBB and VCC, right? So these two voltages, or sometimes we also call it as VEE. So these two voltages are the DC voltages. Due to the fluctuations, whenever you are going to turn on it for the first time, definitely there will be some fluctuations. So due to those fluctuations, this input will be applied to this, and in the starting we had this gain A to be large so that your output will be achieved in amplified form. Then a small amount of that output will be fed back into this circuit with the help of this feedback circuit beta. Now in the case of LC circuits, this feedback will be done by, or this feedback circuit will consist of an inductor and a capacitor. And I have already explained you, I will give you again a brief idea that how this LC circuit is going to give you the oscillations at a particular frequency. Now earlier I said that the frequency of oscillations will be 1 by 2 pi root of L of C. Now what is going to happen? This is important to understand. If I suppose that in the initial state, these two are connected with the supply voltage, then definitely what will happen, this capacitor will be charged to a particular voltage, maybe the voltage equal to the supply voltage. Once it is charged, then we will disconnect it, means we will be left with only the LC circuit. We will disconnect the supply voltage. Now this capacitor is charged, so definitely when it will find a closed path, it will start discharging. So this capacitor is finding this closed path through the inductor, and this capacitor will start discharging, and the direction of the current will be this one, I. Now we know that in the capacitor we have the electrical energy stored, or the electrostatic energy. I will write electric energy stored in it, and this inductor is capable of storing the magnetic energy. It means whenever this capacitor is going to discharge to this inductor, definitely the magnetic fields will be induced in this inductor. And we also know that this inductor also opposes the flow of the current through it, because as this is connected, so this current will start flowing through it, but this inductor will start opposing it. And we have seen and we have studied that there will be back generation of back EMF in this inductor. Due to the generation of the back EMF, we can say that an opposite voltage will be developed across this inductor. Now when the opposite voltage will be developed, what will happen? I will write here, or I will draw this one diagram in another way. Now after some time, what is going to happen, if we see this diagram, after some time I can replace this inductor along with a voltage over here. Now the current is entering. We'll draw the capacitor also. This is my capacitor. Now this will be the scenario now. Now this is the capacitor C. It was earlier, this one was positive. It means the direction of the current was this I, and due to that the back EMF will be generated. जब generate होगा तो positive negative आएगा. Then it will be opposite to this inductor, right? So as I said that due to the flow of the current in an inductor, there will be generation of back EMF which is opposite in the polarity to that in the inductor. So this will be the polarity of the voltage that is developed across this inductor. Now, if I see here, if I assume that this is my ideal case, then definitely all the voltage VC must be equal to the voltage equal to VL. VC must be equal to the VL. जितनी voltage आपकी capacitor में थी उतनी ही आपकी back EMF generate होगी. So what will happen after this? When the total capacitor will be discharged, then can I say that there will be a reverse flow of the current, and due to that the capacitor will be now charged in the opposite direction. जब पूरा का पूरा capacitor आपका discharge हो जाएगा, then this voltage source VL will start acting, and what will happen, I will draw here one more diagram make it more clear. So now what will happen, this in voltage that is generated due to the back EMF of the inductor will charge the capacitor in the opposite direction, because look here, I will draw here with the blue color that this is my positive polarity. It means now the current will start flowing here, and what is going to happen, this capacitor will be charged to the positive voltage on this side. It means now my polarity of the capacitor will be positive and negative. So if you compare these two diagrams, in this diagram and this diagram, you will find the capacitor polarity has changed. It means what happened, that the energy in the capacitor has first moved into the inductor in the form of back EMF, then that back EMF have moved this energy back to the capacitor but in the opposite direction. Now what will again happen, once it will be again charged, capacitor will be again charged, the capacitor will start discharging, and now the direction of the current will be this one. So there will be now an exchange of energy between the inductor and the capacitor. The rate of exchange of energy is denoted by your resonant frequency F0 equal to 1 by 2 pi root of LC. So this is the concept of generation of an oscillation or a frequency through the LC circuit. Is it clear? Now if you look here, this LC circuit is capable of giving you a phase shift of 180 degree, and we have two criteria for the generation of the oscillations. What were those? Which were given by the Bark-Hussein, or which we have earlier studied as Bark-Hussein criteria. What were those criteria? First one was that the product of gain of A and beta, which is the forward gain and the feedback gain, must be equal to 1. We can adjust it. There is no problem in it. If I look at this tank circuit also, I will get the transfer function. I will also get the transfer function of the transistor. I will multiply those two transfer function. I will take the negative and I will equate equal to 1. Then according to that, I can adjust the values of L and C. Right. Second is the phase shift provided by the A and beta must be equal to 0 degree or 360 degree. Now look here, as I'm going to use, in the case of an amplifier, I'm going to use a transistor, and normally we use common emitter. It means whenever I'm going to use this common emitter, it is going to give me a 180 degree phase shift. It means this feedback network must give me or must provide me a phase shift equal to 180 degrees, so that my overall phase shift will be equal to 360 degrees. So let's see how these two concepts are used in the case of your Hartley and the Colpitts oscillator. So first I'm going to discuss this Hartley oscillator. So I'm going to discuss here Hartley oscillator. So in this Hartley oscillator, what we have, if we look at this diagram, we will easily find this transistor, which is for the amplification. We have here two resistors R1 and R2, and also if I say RE also, that is the emitter resistance, which will provide the necessary bias conditions for the circuit. What are those bias conditions? You all know that your emitter base junction should be forward bias and your collector emitter junction should be reverse bias. So these will be done by this. You have studied this R1 and R2 in the voltage divider circuit also, and this is your RE, that is emitter resistance. Now in addition to this, we have a CE capacitor. What is the role of this CE capacitor? As you know that a capacitor allows your AC to pass through it but blocks the DC. It means whatever the AC signal that will be present at this emitter terminal will be allowed to bypass this emitter resistor. Simply I can say this R1 comma R2 and RE are required to provide the necessary bias condition. Necessary bias conditions. CE is used to bypass RE and it grounds AC signal. Right. In addition to it, you will find here a coil that is RFC. Now, what is this RFC? It is called as radio frequency choke. What is this radio frequency? It is nothing but a very high impedance. A radio frequency. Now, this radio frequency choke provides, or you can say offers, very high impedance to high frequency currents. Now, I am using here the word high impedance to high frequency currents. I will write here. It will provide high impedance to high frequency. Now, can anybody tell me what is the frequency of a DC signal? It is, yes, it is 0. The frequency of a DC signal is 0 Hertz. It means that frequency which is high, that only be provided the high impedance by this RFC. It means DC signals are not provided any impedance or high impedance by this RFC. Only the AC signals will be provided the high impedance. It means the AC will be blocked over here and DC will be allowed to pass. Right? Can I say from here that it will act as DC short and AC के लिए हम बोल देते हैं very high impedance, and AC के लिए very high impedance. Can I say this? Yes, I can say that. Thus, it provides DC load for collector and keeps your AC current out of DC. अब आप यहाँ पे देखें तो ये VCC है हमारा. VCC आपका जो है वो यहाँ पे कलेक्टर तक पहुंचना चाहिए. तो ये RFC लगने के कारण VCC क्या है? एक DC सिग्नल. इट विल बी एक्टिंग एज अ शॉर्ट. जितनी भी आपके पास VCC सप्लाई है दैट विल बी प्रोवाइडेड टू द कलेक्टर. राइट. तो ये DC लोड प्रोवाइड करेगा कलेक्टर के लिए एंड इट कीप्स योर AC सिग्नल्स. AC के लिए क्या है? आपकी वेरी हाई इंपीडेंस. तो अगर कोई भी AC सिग्नल है आपका तो उसको जो है ये प्रोटेक्ट करेगा कि ये कलेक्टर तक पहुंचे या यहाँ से पास करे. राइट. और सिंपली you can say it will act as a open circuit in most of the cases or simply very high impedance. Is it clear? So with the help of this we provide a very good thermal stability. This R1 R2 provides the necessary bias condition and thermal stability also. I will write here thermal stability. So these are the few things about the construction of this Hartley oscillator. Now there is one more thing. Yes, one more thing is that is the CC. This is called as the coupling capacitor. Right here it is called as coupling capacitor. Now what is coupling? Coupling means when we are going to add one or more than one things, right? So this is called coupling. So we are doing here coupling with the help of the capacitor. Why we make use of the capacitor? Because we know the capacitor allows the AC to pass through it and blocks the DC. Whenever we are going to connect more than one circuitry, definitely we don't want our DC or the biasing signals to be transferred to the other circuitry. We only want our AC signal to be transferred. Our target over here is to generate the oscillations. Oscillations are nothing but your sinusoidal signals, which we can say that these are the alternating currents. It means we only want those oscillations to travel back to back. If I go back to my diagram to tell you this, in this diagram, if I say that I don't want my DC, which is present for the biasing of this amplification, to be moved in this loop or in this feedback unit, then how I will do that? What I will do, I will connect a capacitor over here. With the help of this capacitor, which is nothing but the coupling capacitor, whatever the DC signals will be there, that will be blocked by this coupling capacitor, and only the alternating currents or simply the oscillations will be allowed to pass through it and they will move into the feedback circuit, and this process will continue. So similarly over here also, as you can see, this part is my amplification part. This is nothing but doing the amplification, amplifier part. And now I have not discussed this part, but I am telling you right now that this is my feedback path. So look here, what I have done, I want to connect this feedback path back to the input. Look here, this feedback path is going to connect back into the input of my amplification part. So it means I have connected here a coupling capacitor. It is simply a capacitor which is blocking your DC signals and allowing your AC signals. Is it clear? Right. So now next to this, as you are all aware of the working of the transistor, how it is going to amplify the signal, I'm not going to concentrate much on it. I'm going to talk about only this oscillator circuit, or over here you can see this oscillator circuit is consisting of an inductor and a capacitor, but inductor in the center is grounded to another capacitor. Why we have grounded it? Because we want a phase shift over here of 180 degree. हमें phase shift चाहिए 180 degree का L और C के combination से. So how we will achieve it, that is important. Now look here, in my diagram you can see that this is the center of my inductor. It means, can I say that there will be two parts of an inductor? I will name it as A and this one as B. So if I look at this A and B, can I say that whatever the voltage that will be available at the B part, then according to this, you have studied auto transformer concept? ऑटो ट्रांसफॉर्मर का कंसेप्ट पढ़ा आपने? इस सेक्शन तो यस थोड़ा बहुत पता है. जस्ट मैं एक ब्रीफ आइडिया दे देता हूँ व्हाट इज एन ऑटो ट्रांसफॉर्मर. ऑटो ट्रांसफॉर्मर क्या चीज है? एक हमारे पास एक कॉइल ऐसे होती है ट्रांसफॉर्मर में, दूसरी कॉइल ऐसे होती है. ये है हमारा. तो वट एवर द करंट दैट विल बी फ्लोड इन दिस इंडक्टर, ये एक कॉइल ही है, कॉइल विल एक्ट एज एन इंडक्टर. सो ये जो करंट यहाँ से फ्लो करते हैं, इसके कारण मैग्नेटिक फील्ड जनरेट होती है यहाँ पे. ये मैग्नेटिक फील्ड, आपने राइट हैंड थंब रूल पढ़ा होगा, तो मैग्नेटिक फील्ड की डायरेक्शन हमें वहां से पता चलती है जहां पर आपके पास थंब जो है वो आपको करंट की डायरेक्शन बताता है, और जो आपकी फिंगर्स हैं वो आपको मैग्नेटिक फील्ड की डायरेक्शन बताते हैं. सो ओवर हियर आई विल से दैट द डायरेक्शन ऑफ द करंट इज डाउनवर्ड, सो दिस मैग्नेटिक फील्ड विल बी इन दिस डायरेक्शन. राइट, की मैग्नेटिक फील्ड अभी मान लें सिर्फ कि अगर नहीं पता तो मैग्नेटिक फील्ड जनरेट होगी. नाउ ड्यू टू द presence of one more inductor over here, there will be mutual inductance between this. इन दो के बीच में mutual inductance होगी defined by M. If this is L1, this is L2, then definitely the L1 and there will be generation of the magnetic field in the L2 also. L2 में भी magnetic field generate हो जाएगी due to the mutual inductance. Now जब magnetic field induce किसी coil में हो जाती है तो वहां पे current flow करने लग पड़ता है. It means यहाँ पर भी आपका जो है वो current flow करेगा, that is equal to I. This I will not be same. I will write here I dash. It will depend on number of factors, that is number of the turns or the other values. So I just assume that some current will be induced in it, right? If the number of the turns are same, N1, if I assume that L1 के जो number of turns थे coil में, that is N1, और L2 के N2 है, where if N1 is equal to N2, then can I say that I will be equal to I dash. अगर I और I dash सेम हो गए तो क्या होगा कि जो करंट आपने यहाँ पे दिया था वो दूसरी जगह पे मिल गया, बट सिंपली वो फेज शिफ्टेड करंट होगा, मींस उसमें 180 डिग्री का फेज चेंज आ गया होगा. नाउ कम बैक टू माय दिस डायग्राम. इन दिस डायग्राम वन इंडक्टर इज दिस वन, सेकंड इंडक्टर इज दिस वन. ये दोनों एक ही पॉइंट पे एक ही इंडक्टर है, लेकिन जब मैंने इनको सेंटर से जो है वो कैपेसिटर के थ्रू ग्राउंड कर दिया, ये कैपेसिटर जो है ऑलमोस्ट ग्राउंडेड ही होता है, तो आप मान सकते हैं कि इसको शॉर्ट सर्किटिंग प्रोवाइड करता है और ये ग्राउंड कर देता है. It means whatever the voltage that will be present over here, that will be phase shifted in the other inductor. जो आपकी L2 में थी वो L1 में आपको phase shifted फॉर्म में मिल जाती है. It means अगर L1 की वैल्यू जो है आपकी, या L1 की जो वोल्टेज है वो मैं किसी और कॉइल के अक्रॉस जो है ले लूँ, तो मेरे पास जो V0 मिलेगी that will be phase shifted by 180 degree in comparison to the voltage that I have obtained at the collector of this transistor. Right, so let us see what is there in it. If I talk about this inductor L2, look at this inductor L2. This inductor L2 is connected to the collector of this. It means, can I say that this L2 is connected to the output circuitry? If you see these two diagrams, तो मैंने क्या किया, सिर्फ और सिर्फ इस वाले पार्ट को ही चेंज किया हुआ. ये जो आपको दिख रहा है, इस वाले पार्ट को अगर मैं यहाँ पर बना देता तो ये मेरा ऊपर वाला डायग्राम बन जाता. ठीक है, और कुछ चेंज नहीं हुआ है, बाकी रेस्ट ऑफ द थिंग्स आर सेम. सो आई हैव ऑलरेडी एक्सप्लेन्ड यू अबाउट दिस ट्रांजिस्टर एंड दिस बाइसिंग एंड दिस स्टेबलाइजेशन एंड दिस coupling capacitor and the emitter capacitance. Now look here, if I see that this is my collector, or simply this the output of my transistor. यहाँ पे हम आउटपुट ले रहे हैं, आउटपुट ऑफ ट्रांजिस्टर. दिस आउटपुट ऑफ ट्रांजिस्टर इज कनेक्टेड टू दिस L2. एक टर्मिनल इसका जो है वो कलेक्टर के साथ कनेक्टेड है एंड दूसरा टर्मिनल हमारा ग्राउंड के साथ कनेक्टेड है. So can I say that this L2 is the part of output circuitry of transistor, whereas if I look at this L1 inductor, this L1 is one end of this L1 which is connected to this coupling capacitor which is connected to the base of this transistor, and the second end is connected to the ground. So can I say that this L1 is connected or is simply the part of input circuitry of transistor? Can I say this? तो यहाँ पर हमारे पास दो इंडक्टर बने. दो इंडक्टर कैसे बने? एक ही इंडक्टर को आप ये कह दें कि आपने उसको बीच में ग्राउंड कर दिया, तो आपके पास L1 और L2 इंडक्टेंसेस आ गई, तो उनको हम दो पार्ट में कनेक्ट कर रहे हैं, जिसमें से एक जो है आपका वो आउटपुट सर्किटरी का पार्ट है और दूसरा पार्ट जो है वो इनपुट सर्किटरी का पार्ट है. नाउ नेक्स्ट इज दिस टू पार्ट्स आर इंडक्टिवली कपल्ड. इंडक्टिवली कपल्ड मैंने भी बताया, क्योंकि जो एक में मैग्नेटिक फील्ड प्रोड्यूस होगी वो दूसरे में भी प्रोड्यूस होगी. तो यहाँ पे इसमें मैग्नेटिक फील्ड पहले L2 में प्रोड्यूस होगी, तो L2 में जो प्रोड्यूस हो रही है उस करके L1 में भी प्रोड्यूस होगी, एंड दिस विल मेक योर ऑटो ट्रांसफॉर्मर. कंसेप्ट ऑफ ऑटो ट्रांसफॉर्मर विल कम हियर, एंड इट सिंपली स्टेट्स दैट whatever the voltage that will be present at the L2, opposite voltage will be generated at the L1. Right? So now let's next look at the working of this transistor, of this ऑसिलेटर सर्किट. राइट, तो कंस्ट्रक्शन क्लियर है. अब मैं वर्किंग पे आ रहा हूँ. ना वर्किंग पे क्या होगा, सिंपली मैंने ट्रांजिएंट्स लगे. जब मैंने पहली बार ऑन किया ड्यू टू दिस सप्लाई वोल्टेज VCC, आई विल यूज हियर डिफरेंट कलर, ब्लैक कलर. द VCC जब आपने लगाया, definitely some transients will be there, and due to that some input will be applied to the base of this transistor. Due to that the amplification occurs and we got some output at this collector. Right, now when we have obtained the output, this output of this collector is sent to or is connected to the feedback circuitry, which is combination of L1, L2 and C. Now as I said that this L2 is the part of the output circuitry, definitely whatever the voltage that will be generated at the collector will be available at the inductor L2. क्योंकि आप देखिए कोई भी हमने वोल्टेज लेनी होती है तो हम उसको ग्राउंड के साथ जो है वो मेजर कर लेते हैं, या एक टर्मिनल हम वहां पे कनेक्ट कर देते हैं और दूसरा टर्मिनल हम ग्राउंड कर देते हैं. तो यहाँ पर अगर मुझे कलेक्टर की या ट्रांजिस्टर की आउटपुट लेनी थी तो मैंने इसको इंडक्टर के साथ कनेक्ट कर दिया और सेकेंड टर्मिनल उसका ग्राउंड कर दिया. इट मीन्स ऑल द वोल्टेज दैट विल बी अवेलेबल एट द आउटपुट ऑफ द कलेक्टर इज नाउ अवेलेबल एट माई L2 or simply the inductor L2. ये पॉइंट क्लियर है? ये पॉइंट क्लियर है बेटा? यस. नाउ लुक हियर व्हाट आई सेड कि हमारे पास कोई भी ट्रांजिएंट कब प्रोड्यूस होता है, जब हम कोई सिस्टम को ऑन या ऑफ करते हैं. जब भी ऑन या ऑफ करते हैं तो फ्लक्चुएशन होती है, क्योंकि आपने जब ऑन किया तो अब मान लेते हैं अगर मैं यहाँ पे VCC 12 वोल्ट्स की बात कर रहा हूँ, तो एकदम से तो 12 वोल्ट्स पे नहीं जाएगा. इट विल टेक टाइम. आपने राइज टाइम पढ़ा है, फॉल टाइम पढ़ा है, तो वो क्या होते हैं, आपको टाइम लगता है किसी भी सिग्नल को अपनी वैल्यू अचीव करने के लिए. तो उस ड्यूरेशन में हमारे ट्रांजिएंट्स जो है वो प्रोड्यूस होते हैं. मैंने कहा ड्यू टू दोज ट्रांजिएंट्स सम इनपुट विल बी अप्लाइड टू दिस बेस, क्योंकि हम एक्सटर्नल इनपुट तो कोई लगा नहीं रहे हैं, तो वो ट्रांजिएंट्स के कारण ही हमारे पास बेस पे कोई इनपुट लगेगी. एंड एज दिस इज अ ट्रांजिस्टर इज यू कैन से इज बाइस्ड इन द एम्पलीफिकेशन. जो आपके एम्पलीफिकेशन के लिए आपके जंक्शन जो है वो फॉरवर्ड और रिवर्स वाइज होती है, उसके अकॉर्डिंग सेट किया. नाउ दिस आउटपुट विल बी अचीव्ड एट द कलेक्टर विच इज डेफिनेटली द एम्पलीफाइड फॉर्म. अभी मैं सिर्फ एम्पलीफाइड फॉर्म को छोड़ रहा हूँ, मैं कह रहा हूँ आई हैव ऑब्टेन्ड सम आउटपुट ऑफ द एट द कलेक्टर ऑफ दिस ट्रांजिस्टर. राइट, नाउ लुक हियर, जब भी मुझे कोई आउटपुट किसी जगह पे लेनी होती है, देन व्हाट आई डू, either I connect a load resistor across it and then I ground it. I say कि यहाँ पर जो voltage होगी, if I say this is collector, so definitely that voltage will be across this रजिस्टर. ऐसा ही होता था, तो मैं इसको ग्राउंड के साथ कनेक्ट करता था. लुक हियर, दिस कलेक्टर ओवर हियर इज कनेक्टेड टू दिस इंडक्टर L2. L2 वाले टर्मिनल के साथ कनेक्टेड है एक टर्मिनल के साथ, और L2 का दूसरा टर्मिनल कहाँ कनेक्टेड है, ग्राउंड में. इट मीन्स द वोल्टेज अक्रॉस L2 विल बी नथिंग बट द वोल्टेज जो मुझे कलेक्टर के अक्रॉस मिली थी. इट मीन्स व्हाट आई हैव डन, आई सिंपली टेकन माई आउटपुट अक्रॉस द इंडक्टर L2. नाउ as I said, due to the concept of auto transformer, whatever the voltage will be there across the inductor L2 will be available at the inductor L1, but in the phase shifted form और by the 180 डिग्री फेज शिफ्ट. इसको 180 डिग्री का फेज शिफ्ट मिल जाएगा और ये L1 पे हमें मिल जाएगी. नाउ L2 जो था वो आउटपुट का पार्ट था, यहाँ पे हमने कहा L1 जो है वो इनपुट का पार्ट है, तो कैन आई से दैट नाउ आई हैव ऑब्टेन्ड अ 180 डिग्री फेज शिफ्ट बिटवीन द आउटपुट ऑफ द ट्रांजिस्टर एंड द इनपुट ऑफ द ट्रांजिस्टर ड्यू टू दिस फीडबैक सर्किट। मेरे पास क्या, इस फीडबैक सर्किट के कारण 180 डिग्री का फेज शिफ्ट आ गया। इफ आई हैव ऑब्टेन्ड दिस फेज शिफ्ट ऑफ 180 डिग्री, I will say here now the closed loop or the combined phase shift in my amplification or in the transistor and in the feedback is now equal to 360 डिग्री। ट्रांजिस्टर ने आपको कॉमन एमिटर में कनेक्ट होकर के 180 डिग्री का फेज शिफ्ट दिया, and this feedback network or simply the LC network has also given you a phase shift of 180 degree. Due to that, our second criteria of the Bach-Hussein is now satisfied, and we can adjust our gains, that is magnitude of A into beta is equal to 1. That is the first criteria. This can again also be adjusted by simply making the gains of your transistor and the feedback circuit equal to 1. कोई वो बड़ी बात नहीं है. So due to this now oscillations will be induced in it. This LC will induce the oscillations at a particular frequency. I will write here that frequency f naught, which is given by 1 by 2 pi root of L equivalent into C. Now I have not used the word L because L is now the single inductor value, but L1 and L2 यहाँ पे दो values हैं, so I will write here L equivalent, and this L equivalent is given by, I will write the formula. This L equivalent is equal to L1 plus L2 plus twice of M, where L1 is the inductance of the inductor L1, L2 is the inductance of inductor L2, and M is the mutual inductance between this L1 and L2. So I will write here my frequency of operation will be equal to 1 by 2 pi root, I will write C also here, root of L1 plus L2 plus twice of. So this is the exact, you can say, the frequency that I will achieve, or the oscillations that I will achieve. These are all sinusoidal oscillations, right? These are all sinusoidal oscillators. So this is the construction and the working of the Hartley oscillator and the basic principle.